Hi there, it's Chris Hamilton here with Enter My Invoice. And today what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to market to your LinkedIn contacts. You're connected with a lot of people on LinkedIn, hopefully. Hopefully when you meet people, you're connecting with them. And I'll tell you what, one of the worst things is you connect with someone and it's a one and done. You never reach out to them again. LinkedIn, by the way, they make it so tough for you to follow up with your connections on a regular basis. I'm going to show you a relatively easy and painless way to keep in contact with people on a fairly consistent basis. So, first thing that you're going to do is you're going to learn a few things in this video if you watch the whole thing. You're going to learn, first step is how to get all your LinkedIn connections, email addresses out of LinkedIn. Very easy to do, but very few people know how to do this. Secondly, I'm going to show you how to segment these connections using LinkedIn. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how to reach out to your LinkedIn connections all at once and on a regular basis. So this becomes an extremely fast process that you can use on a fairly consistent basis to keep in contact with specific or even all of your connections on LinkedIn. So step number one, how to access all your LinkedIn contacts' email addresses. So this is something very few people know how to do. And you're going to learn a secret. It's an awesome secret. Once you get this, this is a game changer for you for keeping in contact with contact with your LinkedIn connections or a segment of your LinkedIn connections. So what you want to do is when you're in LinkedIn, across the top, you're going to see in the menu there is a little me section, and hopefully you got your picture in there. When you click on that, you're going to get a drop down. That drop down is going to put you into a section here that says account. And when you go into account, click on the setting and privacy, like where that arrow is. Once you click on that, it's going to bring up a page. Scroll down the page and you're going to see a section here that says download your data. What you want to do is you want to click on that. So there's a couple of options you have here. You have the works or pick and choose. So I'll tell you what, first things first, if I were doing this the first time, I would just simply pick the works and request an archive, the button down below. The reason you want to do this is you want to see what comes in this whole package so you can understand what it is. If you don't have the time, what you can do is pick and choose. Click on pick and choose, and what you want to do is you want to click select the connections option. Nothing else, just connections, and that will bring down a list of contacts or connections that you have in LinkedIn, and associated with that is going to be their email address. Now, the other thing I want to put a caveat on is when you're doing this, when you're requesting an archive, you got to remember your password for LinkedIn, so make sure that you have that when you're going down this path as well. So that's just an FYI. So then what happens is it says on the request an archive, it takes upwards of 24 hours. It actually is way faster than that. I did this morning at around 8 o'clock. By 8:16, about 15 minutes later, I had the information that I required. So the email comes, first installment of your LinkedIn data archive is ready. Click on it, and then you see this download it with this link. When you click on that, it brings you back to that download page that you were already at. And then what happens is, instead of requesting an archive, now you've got the ability to download that archive. So you click that, and then what happens is it downloads a zip file, and then you have to unzip that file. And then once you unzip that file, you've got all the options in there. This is kind of what happens. So once again, I was talking about first time, go through with the works and kind of just see what comes up and what kind of data is in here. You can click around, but realistically, the only one you really need is that connections CSV. When you click on the connections CSV and open it, what you're going to find is it's going to bring up a CSV file with every single one of your LinkedIn connections. You're going to have a first name, a last name. You're going to have an email address. I've blocked them out here for privacy sakes. You're going to have a company. You'll have a position. It'll show you when you connected with that person. Don't worry about tags, websites, instant messages. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Realistically, what you're really going to be looking for is first name, last name, potentially company or position, and the email address. And in this case, now you've got this CSV file. Not everyone is probably going to fit with you in your target market. You might want to start segmenting this list, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, how we're going to do this is step number 2, how to segment your LinkedIn contacts by using LinkedIn. So first things first, When you look in this list, you're going to be able to go through and figure out who fits a certain criteria for you. So in this case, I'm going to pretend I'm a realtor in Calgary. I want to be able to connect with people that are in the Calgary marketplace. I could kind of run through this list really quickly, put a column over to the right-hand side, say JKLM somewhere in there, and use that as kind of the area where I denote it. So I'd scroll down and start putting X's beside people that are in Calgary that I know live in Calgary. If I want to further refine this list, this is where we get into step number 2, which is how to segment your LinkedIn contacts. How you do this is go into the search bar in the upper right-hand part of, or upper left-hand part of LinkedIn, click on there, and you get a drop-down menu. It says people. When the people come, you have the ability to select certain filters. So in this case, once again, I'm going to pretend I'm a realtor who's going after people in Calgary where I live. What I want to do is I want to select first level people in Calgary. So I've got my connections where you see the first arrow first, and then locations, Calgary. If your city's not listed in there or the place you're trying to find, just type in the space bar and start typing the city or the province or the state or the country, and it'll start popping up in there. You can use this to further refine a whole bunch of other factors. But in this case, once again, I'm looking for people in Calgary, first level connections. I'm pretending I'm a realtor. So now here's how I can connect out to these people. So I found that list, by the way, on LinkedIn. I cross-reference it against my spreadsheet. Little time consuming, but you know what? You go through it and you've hopefully distilled down a great list of people that you could be reaching out to on a regular basis. And now what you want to do is you want to be able to reach out to these connections. So first things first, don't take all those email addresses and put them into a Gmail or put them into an Outlook email or whatever email service you're using. If you do that and there's a whole bunch of names and emails in there and you send it out, your internet service provider will look at that and say, someone's being spammed here. I need to potentially put a block on this. And they could block your account, and then, it's a pain to go back through and try to get your account reenacted. So don't do that. There's an easier way. I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do this. Look at MailChimp. MailChimp is an email marketing system that you can use. It's free to use, up to 2,000 names on it. And you can send pre-formatted, great looking emails that are easy to build through the system, or you can just send plain text emails through the system as well. It works really well. So what do? Go to MailChimp.com and sign up for an account. Once you signed up for an account, along the top bar, you're going to see campaigns, templates, lists, and reports. Click on lists. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to see create list. Click on that, and then a drop-down menu comes, and it says, hey, do you want to create a new list, or you want to subdivide an existing list with new groups? You want to create a new list. Click create new list, and then what happens is you're going to create a list. Now, they're going to ask for details on the list. They're going to need a list name. They're going to need a default address, email address where it's coming from, a name from who it's coming from. You also have to put a reminder in there of how people ended up on your list. What I would do is I would say, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. This is the way that I reach out to people on a regular basis, right? And then you have to put some address information. And this is for kind of like anti-spam laws in different countries. So you have to do this sort of stuff. So this will create a list for you. Then what you want to do is you want to populate that list with the email addresses that you have. So how you do this is in that list, you're going to give the option of manage contacts, add contacts, whatever it is. So you know what? You can either add contacts or manage contacts. If you click on the manage contacts, it's going to say, do you want to import contacts? On the add contacts, it's going to do the same thing. Do you want to import the contacts? When you click on import contacts, it's going to give you a few options here. First one is, we've got this Excel spreadsheet. Hopefully you've cleaned it up. You've got rid of the people that you don't need in there. You clean up some of the columns, first name, last name, email address is the bare bones what you need. If you want to put the person's title in or position in and their company, whatever, you can leave that in if you want. Then what you can do is you can upload it. So you click here, and it's going to give you the option to upload, right? So there's another button that's on here. I didn't have it on here, but you just click on that and it'll allow you to upload. The other thing you can do is if you got the file open, you can copy you can kind of hover, copy, and take the first name, last name, email address, all the relevant information, copy that. And then what you can do is you can paste it into a screen on MailChimp, and they will allow you to put names in. It'll walk you through a process where it says, what's this, what's that. It'll say, what's this? You can put first name. Next thing is put last name. And then third thing is put an email address. It'll format it for you and create that. And it'll create that list for you. Then what you do is you go in and you say that you want to create an email. It'll ask you for what list. You click on the list, and then it'll give you a bunch of options. You can create what they call a plain text email, which is just strictly you writing text. The other thing that you can do is you can create a great looking HTML or a fancy looking email by dragging, adding certain things. They have templates that you can use. It's really simple to use, and they have a great support team that can help you out with that sort of stuff. Really, really easy to use, and this is a great way to keep in contact with people on a consistent basis. So now, once again, I'm now this realtor in Calgary. I've got my Calgary contacts into LinkedIn. I'm ready to send an email because I formatted it. What I need to do is I need to think about what that email is and what do I do for people. So just a few little tips on this sort of stuff is, first things first, start with a reason as to why someone is getting an email, right? Include in an email. So here's what I would do. The first email out is I would create just a plain text email saying, can I get your permission to send you emails on a regular basis, as a subject line or something like that. Then what you do is you put an email together in just plain text, and you just write in there and say, hey, I want to try to keep in contact with my LinkedIn connections on a regular basis. LinkedIn makes it really tough to do that. I'm hoping I could send you an email every once in a while via my email service. If you're cool with that, that's great. And just say, make sure you let them know you're connected on LinkedIn and why you're giving them the email. You can also tell them, look, if you don't want to hear from me, there's an unsubscribe button down below. All you got to do is click that, and you'll never hear from me ever again. And it'll take them off that list for you. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to provide value, right? So as a realtor, part of what I want to do is maybe provide some value, things to look for, around the house, before you sell the house, things to look for that, you need to look for when you're buying a house, how to get a better price for your house, how to get a better price when you're buying a house, stuff like that. Then you can include stuff like, hey, I got an open house here. Here's some new homes. Here's this, here's that. Provide value in the email to someone. Don't just come out swinging and selling. People get turned off, that kind of stuff. The other thing I want you to do is, I'm in Canada. Our spam laws are crazy. So something that you might want to think about doing is also in LinkedIn, when you funnel down people into your criteria, is send them a message on LinkedIn and ask them for their request or their ability to send an email outside of LinkedIn. If they say sure, add them to your list, and then put it through. I'd hate to see you get caught in some countries' spam laws, especially Canada. God knows what would happen to you. They'll throw you in jail. Who knows? I don't know. I'm joking. We'll see what happens, right? But make sure you're not breaking any laws as well. And one thing that I always do is when I connect with people, I let them know that I want to keep in contact with them and that they'll see the occasional email. So once again, if I reach out and I connect with someone, or someone reaches out and connects with me, I send them a note saying, hey, great to connect on LinkedIn. Tell me a little bit about yourself, how I might be able to help you out. Hope you don't mind. I send out emails on a regular basis. It's not too much, but you'll hear from me probably monthly. Hope you don't mind. You'll see it through an email service that I use. And just, be prepared for that. And if you don't want to hear from me, you can just unsubscribe, right? So there's something that you can do as well. If you would like to reach out to me, feel free to contact me at chris.hamilton@entermyinvoice.com, or you can phone me, 403-630-1243. Or last but not least, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn at the link below, or else just go into LinkedIn and search up Chris Hamilton in Calgary. I should float to the top. If I don't, then I'm not doing my job properly. And I'd love to connect with anyone on LinkedIn. I literally accept everyone unless their profile looks absolutely crazy. So there you go. Please connect with me. Would love to hear from you. Hopefully you find this information valuable, and let me know. I'd love to hear from you.